I remember the exact moment my world tilted. It was a Thursday evening in Atlanta, the kind of humid Georgia night where the air feels heavy enough to press down on your chest. I pulled into Pinecrest Meadows just after 8 p.m., headlights cutting through the drizzle, expecting to slide into my usual spot, number 17C, right next to the Johnson's minivan and across from old Mr. Delgado's meticulously kept garden. But the space sat empty. A dark gap like a missing puzzle piece in a neat suburban lineup. A soggy paper flapped against the lamppost. Temporary no parking zone. Violators will be towed at owner's expense. The timestamp read 5:45 p.m. Well after I'd left for my shift at the bank. My fingers tightened around the steering wheel of my rental because my silver Toyota Camry was gone. I sat there for a long minute, rain pattering on the roof, feeling the first stir of something cold in my gut. This wasn't random. In 3 years living here, I'd never seen enforcement like this. The hotline number glared in red. I dialed from my work phone, the one issued by Atlanta Federal Credit Union for vendor compliance calls. It was equipped with an automatic callback trap, every return call recorded, time-stamped, geolocated, legal for business lines in Georgia, and I'd used it 100 times to build cases against shady contractors. Elite Recovery Services, a rough voice answered on the second ring. You calling about a tow? Silver Toyota Camry. Plate ending in 472. It was in my assigned spot.
Yeah.
We got it. Storage starts at $225 overnight, plus $135 processing, $90 after-hours fee. Cash or card preferred. My jaw clenched. It's barely 8 o'clock. After hours? Policy's policy.
Ma'am.
Pay up or it accrues daily. I activated the trap silently. I'll pick it up tomorrow morning. Fees go up $50 a day. Clock's ticking. The line went dead. My breath fogged the window. Something felt off, the timing, the aggressive fees. The way the sign appeared right after rush hour, when working residents like me were absent. I drove the extra mile to my mother's house on Maple Grove Lane. The porch light flickered as always. Marcus's black pickup truck sat angled perfectly in the driveway, claiming territory. I parked behind it carefully, not wanting to block him. The front door creaked open to the smell of meatloaf and tension. Marcus lounged in his recliner, papers spread across his lap, a half-empty beer on the armrest. He didn't look up. HOA meeting next week. Another special assessment for the community pool repairs. Mom, Vivian, emerged from the kitchen, wiping her hands on a dish towel, her smile strained. Isabella. Honey, you're late tonight. My car got towed from my spot at the complex. Sign went up after I left for work. Marcus's head snapped up. From where? How much? Over 500 so far. He crushed the can with a metallic crunch. Christ. Like, we need more expenses. He shoved a document at me. Sign this for the roof fund assessment. $3,000 special levy. I scanned it. The contractor was Hale Property Services, Marcus's LLC. Not a roofing firm. I'm not signing this. The contractor isn't qualified for roofs. You live here part-time when rent gets tight. You owe us. I pay Mom rent when I'm here. He stood, the recliner groaning. Marcus was a big man, broad-shouldered from years in construction. But he never punched. Too calculated. He shoved me hard instead, shoulder into the doorframe. Pain lanced down my arm. Mom gasped but stayed distant. Always distant when it counted. Marcus, she said weakly. I straightened, keeping my face blank. In compliance work, you document.
You don't react.
You build the case. I'm going to my old room. You'll sign it, he growled. I didn't answer. Upstairs in my childhood bedroom, now half office, half storage, I opened my laptop. Shoulder throbbing. I started the file. Suspicious towing practices at Pinecrest Meadows. Potential HOA vendor collusion. Family financial irregularities. The first rule, emotion doesn't win cases. Evidence does. The second, every scheme leaves a pattern if you look hard enough. At 11:52 p.m., my work phone buzzed. Unknown number. The trap engaged. MS.
Grant?
Elite Recovery confirming your vehicle for morning retrieval.
Click.
I smiled faintly in the dark. They were tracking me already.
Time to find out why.
Tuesday morning. The HOA office smelled of stale coffee and copier ink. I arrived at 9 sharp with a formal records request printed on bank letterhead. The young receptionist blinked at it like I'd asked for state secrets. I need meeting minutes from the last 8 months. All contracts with towing vendors, and logs for temporary signage authorizations. I have to check with the manager. Georgia Planned Community Act allows.
Section 44-3-101 et sec.
Records open to members upon written request. I'll wait. She scurried away. Whispers. A slammed door. 25 minutes later, a cardboard box appeared. Review here only. No copies. No photos. Fine. I pulled out my notepad. My phone camera clicked discreetly under the table. January minutes mentioned parking enforcement revenue goals instead of safety. February introduced the Elite Recovery contract. The HOA took 45% of every tow fee. Buried deeper, performance bonuses for hitting monthly tow quotas. My pulse quickened. March minutes, board member M. Hale proposes strategic temporary signage placement during peak evening hours to optimize compliance. Past 4-1. Marcus Hale. My stepfather. I cross-referenced towing logs. Pattern emerged, signs posted 4 to 6 p.m. Tows executed 5 to 7 a.m. Next day. 11 incidents in 4 weeks. Targeting visitor spots and end-unit parking where shift workers left cars overnight. Always the same zones. My callback logs showed 19 return calls. Most traced to Elite Recovery Dispatch or HOA board cell phones. 2 outliers stood out. The first picked up cautiously, a woman's voice. Hello. This is Isabella Grant. You called my number last night regarding a tow. A pause. Sarah. Unit 29. They tow my husband's truck last week. He's parked there 2 years solid. Someone slid a note under my door with your number. Said you were looking into this. I hadn't left notes yet. Did you complain officially? They laughed it off. Visitor vehicle subject to tow anytime. But he's no visitor. Send me everything you have, photos, receipts, timelines. The second outlier was an older man. Measured and careful. MS. Grant. You're the one investigating the towing issues.
Who is this?
Someone who's seen the pattern longer than most. Check your mailbox tonight. Building 4. Spot 17C. The line died. That evening. A plain envelope in my apartment mailbox, no stamp. Photocopies of bank statements. Not HOA accounts, personal. Hale Property Services, LLC showing regular deposits matching roughly 28% of the HOA's tow revenue cut. The final page hit like a punch. Email thread between HOA President Carla Mendoza and Marcus. 6 weeks old. Need to clear $22,000 this quarter or pool repair audit questions arise. Your zone's first. Mine are getting nervous. Close call with Delgado. I thought of Mr. Delgado's arthritis. How he shuffled groceries slowly. Thought of Marcus's shove. The bruise blooming on my shoulder. Greed disguised as necessity. That night, I reconfigured the callback trap to a new virtual number. Automated menu. You've reached Community Legal Advocacy Resources. For towing complaints, press 1. For HOA financial concerns, Press 2. I printed business cards with the number. After midnight, I slipped one under every door in Pinecrest Meadows. By dawn, the system logged 68 messages. The fight was beginning. My half-brother Nate texted, "Found you a lawyer. Jordan Ellis. She dismantles corrupt HOAs. Coffee tomorrow." That afternoon, I built the spreadsheet. Dates, times, victims,
Fees.
$49,000 in tows over 3 months. HOA cut nearly $19,000. Enough to cover repairs that never appeared. But the money trail led to Hale Property Services. Jordan Ellis's office felt like a fortress of justice, exposed brick, heavy oak desk, shelves lined with case law volumes. She didn't look like a bulldog. She looked precise. Like someone who dissected lies for sport. "Forged signature on a special assessment," she said, holding the document to light, comparing it to my employment forms. "Amateur, but effective if unchallenged." Hesitation marks. Inconsistent pressure. "You're a loops differently at the bank. They filed this 2 weeks after I refused the real one." Jordan's fingers flew across keys. Hale Property Services, LLC registered 4 months ago. Sole proprietor Marcus Hale. HOA hired them as security consultants right after the elite recovery contract. $2,000 monthly retainer plus percentage of enforcement revenue. "They're paying my stepfather to help rob his neighbors." Allegedly, Jordan said, but her smile was sharp. "This forgery moves it from civil to criminal." Forgery. Potential elder abuse if victims over 65. Mr. Delgado is 73. My phone buzzed. The trap. New voicemail. Option 2 selected.
Jordan leaned in.
"Your honeypot's active." The voice was nervous. Male. Board minority member. Off-books meeting tonight. 8 p.m. At Carla's. They know someone's digging. Jordan raised an eyebrow. "Can you get in?" "Marcus will be there." That evening, I knocked on Mom's door. Marcus answered. Dressed for his book club, The Standing Lie. "I want to apologize about the assessment," I said.
Eyes down.
"You're right. I should contribute. I'll sign the real one tonight at your meeting. Make it official." His face cycled through surprise, calculation, suspicion. He couldn't refuse without admitting the forgery.
Fine.
But keep your mouth shut. Carla Mendoza's house was all granite and shutters. 5 cars in the driveway. Marcus led me through the side door into a dining room thick with fear and Chardonnay. "What the hell is she doing here?" Carla's voice sliced. "She wants to sign the assessment. This is closed session." I set my phone face down on the table. Recording app silent. "I'm here about the forgery. We handle it internally, or I file charges tomorrow." Silence. An elite manager cleared his throat. Carla poured wine with shaking hands. "It's legitimate revenue enhancement. It's a quota system. Manufactured violations. I have the emails. Your zones are mine first." Marcus's fist clenched. "Touch me again, and it's assault on top of fraud." Georgia's one-party consent. "I consent to recording." Carla's glass shattered. Red wine spread like accusation. The elite manager bolted for the door. "Nobody leaves," I said, voice steady from years handling executives. "This is conspiracy. Forgery. Kickbacks. RICO territory." Marcus paled. Carla whispered, "I'm not going to prison over parking." My phone buzzed. "Jordan. Police en route. ETA 4 minutes. Neighbors called after your cards." Through the window, a slow parade of cars with hazard lights circled, led by Mr. Delgado's Buick. The community had mobilized. When officers arrived, drawn by multiple reports of suspicious gathering tied to known fraud complaints, they found panic, broken glass, and my phone capturing every word. The callback trap loomed over the next days. Jordan helped register it officially under advocacy services. The menu expanded. Towing complaints, fraud reports, unauthorized fees, kickback evidence. Dead air after the prompt encouraged callbacks. People always called back when they thought it was safe. My laptop filled with data. Patterns clustered around shift changes. Elite drivers called between runs. Marcus's calls late night. Slurred. Pressing option 2 repeatedly. One captured him in a large echoey space, likely Elite's warehouse. Background diesel engines. He was there directing tows. Wednesday, HR at the bank called. Anonymous complaint about using company tools for personal matters. Documenting potential crimes falls within policy. I helped write section 7.3. They backed down. But Marcus had tried to silence me professionally. That evening, the trap caught gold. Carla on speakerphone via proxy. Need 8 more by Friday or quarter collapses. Hit overflow behind building 7. Overnight workers can't fight back. I printed alerts. Towing scheduled tonight in overflow. Move vehicles. Know your rights. Slipped under wipers at 10 p.m. The lot held older cars, hospital stickers, cleaning supplies. My phone rang. You're interfering. Towing legally parked cars isn't legitimate. I have Carla's 7:23 p.m. Call specifying targets. He hung up, but the trap logged the Origin Elite office. Overnight, the line exploded with calls from night shift workers who'd found the cards. Confessions poured in. Thursday's emergency HZ meeting packed the community center. Fluorescent lights harsh. Crowd buzzing with rage. Carla sat pale. Foundation cracked. Marcus sweated profusely. Before opening, Mr. Delgado stood. We're done listening. Isabella Grant has the floor. I projected evidence. Map of tows clustering around vulnerable residents. Callback logs highlighting board and Elite numbers. Audio of Carla's instructions. Forged signature comparisons. Financial trails to Hale Property Services. Gasps. Then fury as victims stood. Sarah's husband. Letitia the night cleaner who missed her daughter's play. Delivery driver hit repeatedly. Marcus tried executive session. Motion to remove entire board carried overwhelmingly per bylaws. Officers entered. Investigation opened into fraud. Conspiracy. Statements taken. Assets frozen. Later, bank records under subpoena revealed joint account, Marcus and Vivian. Transfers timed with kickbacks. Mom's withdrawals soon after, cash. Small amounts. But her signatures showed tracing practice too. Marcus had forged hers. Identity theft. Spousal abuse layered on. Then audio analysis. Mom's faint whisper in background of one call. Told you not to call from here. The cancer diagnosis emerged in a desperate call from Marcus. Stage 3 lung cancer. Experimental treatment $60,000 not covered by insurance. Scheme started 5 months ago when diagnosis hit. Greed born of desperation. Dawn broke gray over the Fulton County Courthouse. Rain-slicked overflow, lot filled with news vans and residents clutching proof. I stood watching as officers brought Marcus in handcuffs first. Then Carla. Elite drivers. Managers. Inside courtroom. Judge Ramirez presided. Jordan presented the comprehensive file, spreadsheets, recordings, traces. The turning point came when Mom stood from the back. Frail with walker. Thin as paper. Lorna, no. Vivian Hale. Co-conspirator. She submitted her own folder. Marcus's prior LLCs across Georgia. Same pattern over 10 years targeting working-class HOAs. I kept records. He chose neighborhoods too busy, too poor to fight. Her handwriting mapped a decade of schemes. The judge reviewed, then addressed me. MS. Grant, your callback evidence and methodical documentation are extraordinary. Injunction granted. Board removed permanently. Licenses revoked. Assets frozen for full restitution plus damages. Criminal trial set. Flight risk kept defendants in custody. Outside. Rain easing. Sun breaking. Jordan confirmed storage unit held 62,000 for victims. Mom cooperating. Facing house arrest and probation considering illness and testimony. Marcus facing 20-plus years. My phone buzzed. Promotion offer at bank for forensic compliance director role. Sergeant Ramirez noted the system, helped flag 3 other active schemes statewide. Neighbors exchanged numbers. Organizing new board elections. Trauma-forged community. Letitia approached in uniform. Thank you. You answered when I called. The real power wasn't the tech, it was creating a line people could dial when systems failed. Breaking silence. Mom waited by a patrol car. She mouthed, I'm proud of you. I turned away. Some calls you answer. Others, you let ring. I sat in my unwed car. Rain tapping the windshield. Turned off the trap for the first time. Silence. Numbers never lie, but sometimes they reveal the cruelest truths about love, desperation, and the cost of choices. The question lingers, when family chooses survival over honesty, does justice heal the betrayal? Or does it leave echoes forever?